All right, guys, what's going on? All right, what's going on? Thanks to those joining me live, and to those that will be joining me on archive. Let's talk about the Great Wall of Trump, the big wall, the beautiful wall that will have a beautiful door, and that's gonna just stop the massive wave after wave after wave and wave and wave of illegal immigration. It's going to stop and solve all illegal immigration problems. Why? Because it's a big, beautiful wall. We're going to make it tall, and if Mexico's going to pay for it, and if they don't, we're going to make it 10 feet higher. That's right. That was actually his first announcement when he ran for president, and it resonated immediately. He went up on the polls in the Republican primaries when he mentioned this. Now, I don't know how many people know this or not, but we already have, for the most part, wherever we're able to build it, a barrier between Mexico and the United States. It's a big red fence, right? Now, areas where it's not very secure is because of the terrain, right? So if a fence is very difficult to make, and they never finished it, it ended up being a lot of money being spent for nothing. Then you have to question how a wall is going to be created in this instant, right? Not to mention landowners, and you're going to have to use eminent domain, and it could get very, very ugly. That there's a lot of details, fine details that people haven't really looked at here. Now ignoring, because this is what we have to do nowadays. We have to ignore many aspects just to get to the gritty, good stuff that everybody just wants to jump to and talk about, right? So we're going to ignore all those aspects, and let's assume, he says he's a great builder. Donald Trump, by the way, has never built anything in his life, right? So for all his supporters that say he's a tremendous builder, no, he's not, right? Um, he doesn't even make the blueprints to his buildings. I don't know where you guys getting this from, but let's say whatever. Okay. Let's say he's just tremendous. Okay, Donald the builder, and he's going to make a big, massive wall. All right, the wall of Game of Thrones is going to be an envy of this wall. Right. So let's say they make this wall. According right now to the Republican Congress, said they're waiting right now. They're willing to fork up $15 billion to go ahead and make this wall. Now, notice how they don't mention anything about Mexico paying for the wall. Okay, we're going to pay for the wall. Right now, Trump is saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Mexico will pay us back." Right? Mexico will pay up. I'm the master negotiator. I'll get it done. You should see social media. Social media with these Trump supporters, man. You should see this shit. Guys, calm down. He's a master negotiator. Mexico will pay for it eventually. Okay. Now, granted, keep in mind, this was after, these Trump supporters seem to flip flop more than their hero himself. Well, so for example, when he first said Mexico's going to pay for it, they said, yeah, he'll make them pay for it. And then when it turned out that Mexico was not going to pay for it, okay, they came out and they said, his Trump supporters said, no, well, he didn't say pay for it with money. He never said with money. He said they're going to pay for it, right? Because we're going to punish them for all the illegals that crossed. That's what he meant. And now that he's saying, no, I meant money, then they're saying, no, this is a negotiation tactic. He's going to make him pay for it financially. So you guys got to, maybe you should all get together, each other on social media, and get your little excuses straight, right? You guys can't be telling different excuses all the time. It just doesn't work out, right? It just, you can't do that. But that's it. Now, first of all, conservative estimates actually have the wall costing more than $15 billion, okay? Now, I am assuming that like Paul Ryan and those idiots over there are thinking, well, we're not going to like really literally make the entire wall from all of Texas all the way to California, right? We're not really going to do that. We're just going to build it in parts where a wall may be necessary, a border or a barrier may be necessary, right? All right, fair enough. But no, this motherfucker wants literally a full-fledged wall, right? And it's hilarious. First of all, it's a waste of money, right? So we're not even going to touch the conservative estimates of 20 to 30 billion dollars plus maintenance for the coming decades. It's going to cost billions more maintaining it, all right, over the years. But let's say we just take the 15 billion, right? That's it. Okay, fine. So they build a wall and they get rid of the current barriers they have because they're going to build a wall. Now, I argue a large fence is a lot more effective for many reasons. Number one, it still creates the barrier that a wall does, right? You have to climb it in order to get through. You can actually make a fence electrical, so if you touch it, it shocks you, right? You can put barbed wire on top of a fence just like you can on a wall, right? And a fence, you know, depending on the type of fencing you built, it's a lot harder to put a ladder on the top of that fence, okay? Whereas with a wall, you can literally use a ladder, okay, to climb it, and it makes it a lot easier. So there's a lot of components to that. Also, if you're a Border Patrol agent, like if you just use your brain for a moment, okay? Let's say, you know, you're driving around in your Border Patrol truck, and you're looking out for not just illegal immigrants, but potentially, you know, drug cartels trying to cross drugs or something like that. Which, by the way, it's not that big cartels that will even attempt to smuggle drugs through the border like that. But let's just say, for argument's sakes, that you're a Border Patrol agent doing your job. Would you rather have your vision blocked by a big fucking brick wall, or would you rather have a fence where you can actually see through it and with your binoculars see quite a distance from there? Which would you rather have? I don't know. It seems to me that a fence is a lot more effective for that, okay? You know, but hey, I digress. All right, so it's less effective than a fencing barrier, which is already being built or has already been built, but again, they couldn't finish due to the certain terrain in certain areas. Right? It either made the fence very inefficient, right? Because of the way the slopes is and on some of the desert land and the way the ground is, right? It's a big mountains. It just makes it very difficult, right? But we're gonna get a wall through that. Okay, fine. Right? Okay, cool. So we're gonna spend 15 billion on a less effective barrier than what we have right now. Brilliant. Okay, so we're gonna literally throw away $50 billion and flush it down the toilet. But don't worry, Mexico's gonna pay for it. Well, we have a slight problem. Mexico already said they're not gonna pay for the wall. And if you think about it, it doesn't take a genius. Why would they pay for the wall? They don't want the wall, right? The idiot president right now and the supporters want the wall, right? So you know what I propose? I actually propose that only people that voted for Trump should actually fork up and pay for the wall. That's what I think, right? But you know, we can't do that. I get it, right? Fair enough, okay? But we're all gonna have to pay for it, okay? Taxpayer money that I put in, I'm gonna have to pay for it, right? And I live in Texas, so if a Texas governor can actually ask for more money, it's gonna come out of what? For me, right? Now, thankfully, there's no income state tax in Texas, which is good, but that's a whole other issue altogether, right? There's some good and bad about it, but we'll get to that another day. All right, so let me get this straight. We're going to spend 15 billion, a less effective barrier, right? We're going to block the vision. You know, we're not going to be able to see. So you're going to have to do one of two things. Either you're going to have the Border Patrol agents on the other side of the wall, right? Happens. You want to be able to see from long distances. Your comrades may not be able to see what's going on because the big fucking wall's in the way, and you're not able to see. So maybe we're going to have to build a different type of wall, a massive one, like a one where you can actually be on top of the wall, like Game of Thrones style, right? So that's going to take more, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, however they make the wall, more bricks, more stone, more cement, you name it, okay? What's going to make the wall more expensive. Fair enough. But don't worry, Mexico's paying the tab. Really? Mexico's going to pay the tab. All right, so how did this genius come up with the answer? So this is what the genius came up with. Well, we're just going to increase taxes on Mexico. So on all exports, we're going to just increase taxes. So here's the deal. First of all, the Mexican government and Mexican taxpayers are not going to pay for that. You blithering idiot. Right? And for everybody who's buying this shit, right? Oh, yeah, oh, there you go. Now we got a strong president that's going to do what we say, and we're going to push Mexico around. That's right, tax them, baby. And we're going to get that money back. Really? No. This is what's going to happen. First of all, do you idiots know how many vegetables and fruits we get from Mexico? They are overall our third highest, okay, supplier. China's a whole nother deal. This motherfucker's gonna get us in a trade war with China, and look, man, it's people. They're not gonna believe it until the shelf. You see it in the shelves. Okay, we're like, why the fuck does this shit cost so much now? That's when you're gonna notice it. So he's gonna put a big tariff, right? He's gonna pump it up 30%. To make Mexico, quote unquote, pay for the wall. So do you have any idea how many American businesses make stuff in Mexico, to then bring it here, they export it back here, okay? And then they sell it here. Caps, t-shirts, ties, Donald Trump ties, they're made in Mexico. Those Make America Great Again, are those China or Mexico? I forget, right? The suits, are those in China or Mexico? I don't know. All right, but you know how many suits and T-shirts and, just normal shit that we all buy for just all the time. Boxer briefs and socks and I don't know, just stuff like that. Okay, a lot of toys are made in Mexico. We bring in a lot of fruits and vegetables, and then you have idiots that say things like, we whittle this shit from Mexico anyway, so we'll just buy fruits and vegetables from the USA. Now, number one, if you believe that farmers here are going to keep the prices down and they're not going to take advantage of the situation and bring the price up, since there's, the Mexican crops are going to go up as well, then you're crazy. That's number one. Number two, you do understand that Mexico has an abundance. All right, look up the word abundance, okay, of crops year round. All right, we have many crops here that do not grow year round. All right, Mexico does. Do you have any idea, idiots, how expensive it's going to be to just buy simple things like vegetables and fruits and toys and clothes, everyday necessities, cotton and shit? Do you have any idea? Not to mention other stuff that's made in Mexico. Not to mention car parts made in Mexico, which help the vehicles cost a little less here. It's going to be a little more expensive to buy a vehicle. It's not the Mexican government that's going to pay for that. It's going to be the American business owners and business owners in Mexico, which all they'll do is jack up the price. All the tequila. Have you ever gone to a bar and shit? You ask for a good tequila shot? Not Wells. Don't drink Wells. Don't do that to yourself. Bartender, can I have a shot? We have Wells on special. $3. Like, wow, what the fuck is that? It's not real. It's not even real tequila, right? Well, I guess it is, but That's the shit they use for mixed drinks and margaritas. Don't have shots of Wells tequila. What are you doing to yourselves? We're not gonna have a choice. We're gonna have to drink Wells tequila because the price of tequila is gonna fucking jack up. Dos Equis, Corona, all those, exports, all of them, they're gonna be jacked up. Man, I wanted to have a barbecue. I went to the store. You're not gonna believe it. A fucking 12-pack of Corona doubled in price. I wonder why. Right? So for all the idiots out there that think Mexico's going to pay for it, they're not. They're not paying for the wall. It's not going to happen. He's going to maybe bring up that might happen. Well, that's yet to be seen. Okay? I don't think the economy could take that. I just don't. Right? You never know. He may be stupid enough to do it, but I doubt he's going to do it. I mean, the way it would hit the economy, man, it would hit it hard. And it's not going to be the Mexican government suffering. The Mexican government's already getting their cut, right? Those businesses in Mexico, many of them owned by American business owners, they're already charging that American business owner a tax. They're already getting their money. They don't give a shit. You think they care? They don't give a fuck. It ain't going to hurt them. Not to mention, though, just to take it a step further, they're already having – Donald Trump's not very popular in Mexico, right? Not whatsoever, okay? The Mexican government's over there is already encouraging the people of Mexico to not buy American products. And holy shit, is that going to hurt a lot of American businesses here? And how do you think they're going to have to make up for a lot of that loss? How do you think they're going to make up for it? You think they're just going to take the hit? You think that's all they're going to do? And for those that don't know, Mexico is peanuts compared to what will happen if this motherfucker starts shit with China, right? I know China. I do business in China. Look, motherfucker, you people have no clue. None. Right? All this for a wall. Let me tell you something. The impact on the economy is going to be bigger than those $15 billion that's going to cost to make that ineffective wall. Now, let's continue about the wall. Mexico's not going to pay for it, so if it's just a reality, okay? So let me take this a step further. If this wall, do you guys even know how illegals end up here in the first place? Do people even know? Most of them are people that came here legally and overstayed their visas, like Donald Trump's wife did. Something like that. All right? I get it. She's not brown, so you don't care. But it's a reality. Right? They come here legally, they overstay their visas, and then they never leave. Okay? We have to enforce that. Well, we kind of do, but it's hard to find these people. Okay? I don't know if you noticed, it's a big fucking country. Right? I personally know people, someone specific from England that was here legally, and they deported her out of here under the Barack Obama administration. In fact, Obama deported more people than George W. Bush did or Clinton did. He broke the record, right? Now, I understand that Trump wants to break that record, okay? So we'll see. That's yet to be seen. But we're already deporting people, okay? That's already the law. But you need to understand how people get here. So it's twofold, right? So you think a brick wall is going to stop drugs from coming here to this country. Number one, if you believe, let me just say it this way. If you honestly believe that the United States government genuinely does not want drugs in this country, right? slap yourself, like hard too. Make sure you slap yourself hard while you're staring at the mirror. Call yourself an idiot and just call it a night. Just go to sleep, right? It's just maybe tomorrow you'll wake up smarter, right? So that's number one. But again, like we have to constantly do, let's say that's a non-factor. Okay. So the United States government, is trying to stop the drugs from coming in. Okay. Wink, wink. Okay. They're trying to stop the drugs. Okay. So, that's that's why they tell not border patrol, custom agents, hey, that specific truck, just let it pass through. We're running an investigation. That's why they do that, right? Because they're really running an investigation. All right, fine. Okay, cool. That's why, they can't stop the Juarez cartel from crossing drugs here. They're making 200 million almost like we, and they can't stop them. It's like I can't believe this. Okay, people believe this shit, and you think it's because there's no barrier and there's no wall. Okay, fine. Okay, so okay, fine. All right. So let me, if anybody knows anything about, look, let's move on. All right, they're trying really hard to stop the drugs from coming in. Okay, wink, wink. Okay, they're really hard. Okay, fine. Trump's gonna stop it. Okay, fine. First of all right, they don't cross through, it's not like they just drive a Jeep Caravan, right? When nobody's looking, and so there's no wall, they just drive through into the United States. So that's how it happens. Okay, all right. Like, what are you guys picturing? Like a Jeep Wrangler with like a bunch of cocaine in the back, all tied up, and then since there's no wall, they just cross through. And since Mexicans have so much privilege, the cops don't do anything about it. They just let it happen. Okay, fine. Maybe that's how you picture this shit happening. Most of the drugs are not even quote unquote smuggled in, right? They pass through the gate, right? The border crossing. They just give them the signal, go on through. That's it, right? Nah, but the dogs and let me say something. All right, I actually know someone who trains these dogs, and believe me, if they really wanted to, none of those trucks would get through, right? Period. All right, but they do let some through. And then there's also the tunnels. Okay, it's not just some made-up thing. Like, the tunnels are real. The tunnels are very real. Oh, it's true. Now we've got to do something about the tunnels then. Okay, do something about the tunnels. I don't get what the fuck a wall is going to do about it, though. You see, this is what you don't understand. The wall does nothing. Nothing about the drugs. Nothing. Okay? If they really wanted to stop the flow of drugs from coming in, they would just decriminalize drugs. All right? That's it. So slap yourself silly, and let's move on. Illegals coming in, okay? First of all, yes, a lot of illegals come in. Now, they're not all from Mexico. Okay, you got to be again, if you think all illegals come from Mexico, here's what you're going to do. Okay? If remember, I already told some of you to go to bed, right? So I'm expecting some people to log out and go to bed. But if you're still here, and you think all illegals are from Mexico, and that's why you think Mexico should pay for the wall, right? Then what you should do now is slap yourself again. We'll just stick to that. Look at the mirror, slap yourself silly at least 2-3 times, and just go to bed, right? There's no hope for you. Just go to bed. So yes, a lot, from South America, a lot of illegals come here, right? And some of them, have in fact crossed the border. Some of them try to cross through the desert. Many of them die just trying to get here due to dehydration and the heat exhaustion, right? But it's a very small percentage. Now, there's two things. Number one, there's actually more Mexican nationals leaving the U.S. than coming in. Okay, so there's actually it's at a 40 to 50-year low as far as how many illegals are coming in. Right, not a crisis that's requiring big action like a big pointless wall. Right. All right. Okay, that's number one. Also, as I mentioned, many of them come here legally through a visa. They overstay their visa, and it's a wrap. Okay. Lastly, do you have any idea how many people fly here? Now, unless the wall's going to be so tall that a plane can't fly through this wall, then the wall's fucking pointless. Okay. And then you're going to have to extend the wall. It can't just be through Mexico. It's going to have to go through the ocean, and like you're going to have to create the wall all around the U.S. Like no more beaches, okay? Or maybe we could extend the wall. Like we could make the wall so we could still enjoy the beaches, right? And they could like paint the wall so it looks like it's like the shores and stuff. We're gonna have to make doors for these walls so the exports like the shipping and stuff could come in, right? We're gonna have a lot of security there, and we're gonna have to make the wall all across the east and then all across Canada, okay, all over there to Washington State, back down to California, okay, till it all connects all around. The wall's gonna have to extend all the way to the heavens, right? It's gonna have to be a big, massive wall all the way to the heavens, to a distance where it's very unsafe for planes to fly over. But what if I want to go to vacation? Well, don't worry about that. We're going to create walls that open so you can, in case you go to a vacation, you're able to fly out of the country. And then planes that are coming in can go through there, but it's going to be through security, right? It's going to be a big, massive wall. So unless you do that, then the wall's pointless. It's not going to stop any illegal immigration, right? And that's it. Oh, well, then we should do something about these visas. All right, so no more tourist money, which helps our economy a lot. All right, no more of that. It's we got to look at a lot of these things. It's a lot more complicated than people think, right? Sometimes people that overstay their visas, they manage to live the American dream, right? Like, whoever thought some, unknown model that posed nude a couple times would have came here illegally, overstayed her, or came here legally, overstayed her visa, right? Was working here illegally with a visa that was not a work visa. Who would have thought that she would have, after taking all those jobs from those potential American models, what's wrong with American women? Is there something wrong with that or what? But who would have thought that someone like that would live the American dream and marry some old fart? And just think about all the money she's going to inherit when he croaks. I mean, that is the American dream for a model like that. Think about it. That's her American dream. What's your American dream? To some people, the American dream is not that complicated. Maybe it's just coming here and all they're looking for is a job. They just want to work for their money. That's it. Is that hard to understand? Is that complicated? No, but we can't let that happen. They come here and they're gonna take all our jobs. I didn't know Mexicans were taking all these accountant jobs, and I don't know that I didn't know they were at courthouses being lawyers, and I just didn't know that. I didn't know there were CEOs at companies, and all these illegal immigrant status, right? Do you even know the type of jobs that they're working? Like, do you even understand, right, that these aren't like hugely sought out jobs? Like, it's not like something that we got to do it. It's no, 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 right? That's not what's going on here. They're not taking jobs that you know they're working jobs for the most part that Americans do not want to do, right? Every time there's unemployment, this is almost never talked about in the media, okay? But whenever you look at the unemployment numbers, there's actually jobs out there available, but people don't want to do those jobs, right? Illegal immigrants come in, right? The ones that are here, and they're willing to do those jobs, and then people start yelling at them, like, "Oh, you're taking all our jobs," or maybe the people screwing you over at the top have convinced you that it's poor people that are hurting you. Maybe it's people at the top that have convinced you that the least powerful among us are the ones causing you all these problems and all these pains. They're the reason, you lost your job. That was actually shipped out to China, by the decision of a CEO who just wanted to maximize his profits. Maybe you've just been convinced that the other is the reason you're unhappy. Maybe you've been convinced that maybe the wall has nothing to do with genuinely wanting to stop illegal immigration and drugs from coming in, but it's more of a barrier to remind the other that they're not welcome here. That America is all American or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm out.